परमोदयः सर्वं देहं चिन्मयं हि जगद्वा अरिभावयेत् युगपन्निर्विकल्पेन मनसा परमोदयः.
Bhagavan Paramashiva says one should continuously cognize, keeping the mind beyond the moment of thoughts, free from any doubt or root cognition, any root patterns, that the whole body and even the whole universe indeed are simultaneously of the essence and nature or of consciousness in the infinite space of oneness. Then supreme awakening happens. Bhagavan Paramashiva beautifully says how if we stop the movement of the thoughts and completely from all, unclutched from all the doubts and the root patterns, then the whole body and the mind, the universe, indeed simultaneously the essence of the nature of consciousness, infinite space, the supreme awakening happens. How? The supreme awakening brings so much of auspiciousness and the proper reality that we can experience and experience beyond the birth and death cycle. How Bhagavan beautifully says how all the Mahatma, the Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Ramana Maharshi, how they lived their life beyond their thoughts and also initiated all their disciples and into the science of power manifestation, and all of them manifested these powers. Even the worst of worst who had no idea about all these cognition were able to be in the surrender of their guru, simply received the greatest gift. Like Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, he used to say that sometimes he would run away and close his doors on the new devotees, but when the Ghosh came and he had all the issues, but he surrendered to Bhagwan's lotus feet. So even he was the 16th person who got initiated into sannyas and he got liberated. All these great signs are beautifully given whoever is ready, not what is the quality of us, but the quality of the Guru who gives us the ultimate signs. The greatest gift that Bhagavan is giving each one of us, not because we are worth of, but he is worth of when we surrender our identities. This body that we carry, the dead body, is become active only when the consciousness is there in the body. Bhagavan beautifully says, the pinda is the dead body that we carry around. We have the sthula, shushma and karana sarira. We live in 3 bodies every day. When we are in waking state, we use this body. When we are lying down, we have a dream body. And when we are in deep sleep, we have the karana, the complete no body, but it's much more deeper. Everybody is ready to do that task every day without getting bored throughout their life and in happiness is the deep sleep state that everybody want to experience. Even though it is done by every day and it is repeated, it is not bored for anybody, or we don't say it is it is tough to do it, or we don't want to do it. We are very clear that each one of us want to experience the ultimate. And Bhagavan says, we are so sick of our thoughts, ourselves, that we want to get out for some time. That is why the dream state and deep sleep state, especially the deep sleep state, is experienced by each one of us to again and again attest that we are consciousness. But going through that unconsciously, we disappear into that nothingness. But consciously, we can go into it when we are surrendering the thoughts again to Bhagavan's lotus feet and raising ourselves to the Paramashiva space, who we are. Again and again, he gives us the glimpse. Start listening to who you are. He says so beautifully, you don't have to change anything. You don't have to do anything. All you need to do, understand, is unclutch from all that bondage that you have created and thinking this is the only body that we have. We have much beyond this body and the mind. We travel through 3 states every day. Then Bhagavan says there is the fourth state. You can be in that also, understanding. If you don't leave it, all these things, it will forcefully leave for you. And that is very painful for us. Each time something really big takes away from us, and we go through the suffering of the birth and death cycle, and for us and who we are with. Understanding all this is a dream. How, when you have a bad dream, also you wake up and you're like so happy that it was just a dream. Same way, Bhagavan says, when you wake up as Paramashiva, you will understand all this bad dream that you think as suffering, pain, or whatever incompletion. It's not even there. You are in the lotus feet of Paramashiva, manifesting the highest reality. And each one of us can experience that. That is the reason why we are here. Not just for this body, which is a dead body, unless He is inside you, making you breathe, making you walk, making you talk. Even recognizing those things is because He exists in this body. Otherwise, the body is called dead body. This great science, when we understand and unclutch deeply from whatever we are going through, and understand that whatever we are engaging outer world, it is only a dream. When you wake up, it's not going to exist, or it's going to be pulled out and make you understand it doesn't exist. If we wake up, it is an inspired, beautiful space, and more auspiciousness and abundance happen. When it wakes up us, then it is very powerful. It is a root, like we crash land and then wake up at Bhagavan's feet asking for all the blessing without understanding that we are the cause of that. If we wake up beautifully into the space of oneness, we flower into the ultimate consciousness. And that is what it says. When you are out of the doubt and root cognition that your identity, what you are, then the whole body, even the whole universe, indeed, simultaneously, essence and nature of consciousness in the infinite space of oneness, then the supreme awakening happens. That is Paramashiva. And beautifully, more and more, you start getting engaged with the Paramashiva space in you, seeing and getting aware with that. You start recognizing the higher reality. Apta Pramanas are the greatest rishis and munis, ganas, all of them have experienced the greater science. And this is from the time where the Pandya king, Sagara, the Pandya king, that time they had the vision where he went and sat under a tree. He got a vision of how to build a temple, and people, all the god and goddesses doing the yajna. And he was guided into the detail of even where the street should be, where mandapam should be, where the tank should be. Into that detail he saw in his remote vision, and he constructed all these temples. If you listen to all the temple story, like how Bragadeshwara temple, which was covered with 250 tons of gold, whereas the gold, we know it is with the British Museum, where they have noted this clearly, that 250 tons of gold covering the whole temple. That is how all the temples were built of gold. And not only there, all over the Asia, the temples were built of gold. Different forms of Hinduism, Jainism, Buddhism, all the Hinduism had the greatest science, and so many scriptures were translated into Chinese, into Nepalese. All the greatest things were given to everybody at the free cost to experience the ultimate consciousness. And here, this is from Thiruvilayadal Puranam, Madurai Kandam, and clearly notes how these great science were possible. Bhagavan beautifully explains how a villager could experience this great science and how he manifested the powers. In India, everything is God. If they have a brick, they paint it as linga. They have a tree, they paint it as kalpavriksha. They paint everything with turmeric and kumkum and worship everything as Paramashiva, the most beautiful space. Bhagavan explains in his own words.
He told, do you know, this is Shiva, I worship. He appeared in my dream and told that you are lying on him. Truth, really. Understand? So that's why I came here. And he brought a small pillow. That's another beautiful thing. He brought a pillow. Lie down on this pillow and leave him there. Put that murti back. He was lying down in his home. He says, I had a dream. Shiva told me that one sadhu is lying on me. Take that. And he brought the pillow and told me to put the big that side. We don't know who all are having connection to what all. Just this deep love for that ordinary brick, which is used for construction, can create a telepathy power in him. Understand? I read an article. American Army is trying to develop telepathy power to use during the war times.
Beautiful. How Bhagavan is talking about the telepathy power here. The villager, the story goes where Bhagavan says the villager had a foreigner and the foreigner wanted to buy the linga because it's so amazing how he was having the telepathy power. And the villager sold it to a foreigner and Bhagavan was shocked. He said not to put his head, but why did you sell it? He asked him. And so beautifully the villager answers that I only did a prana pratishtha to that stone as linga. I can do for millions. I have the power to create millions of linga. That's perfectly fine. And such a beautiful space, he says, a villager could have, that he could see beyond his body, that he can exist as a linga in different forms. That is exactly how he's teaching us, beyond this body, beyond the mind, if we can perceive something that is the consciousness. How beautifully Bhagavan says, the water, when we drink sea water, it is so salty and we can't drink it. But when same water, if you do a desalination and all that, it is still not very tasty. But the same water, when the sun on it and evaporates the water and goes to the space and falls as rain, it is so sweet. How does it change the whole taste into such a beautiful, amazing taste? When the consciousness is awakened, it goes through the space. When it merges through the space, it becomes the ultimate reality. Bhagavan says, if you can see a little bit more than your body and your mind, you understand that you are consciousness, you are Paramashiva. You become so pure and so beautiful, you can manifest all the powers of Paramashiva. And beautifully here, this devotee is explaining how he was able to see the person's house in much more detailed way, into the detail of even where the make of this was. So let's hear from this devotee.
And I'm a holistic beauty and health practitioner. It was a remote vision about scanning a house, and I could scan the whole living room of the person which is sitting in front of me, which I never met. I would never even saw his house, and I could see all the furniture, his television, the closets. I saw boxes and books. I saw actually his whole living room. So the guy was trying to get me more difficult questions, and then he said, like, can you see where I bought the table? And then I was able to look under beneath the table, and I saw the mark made in Morocco. And I said that, and he says, oh yes, that's really true. And then he even asked me, can you see a glass and chandelier? And I said, yes, it's a dining table. I saw straight away where it was. And I could also look under beneath it, and I could see it was made in Italy, in Venice. So when I said it, the man really was almost like, oh my God, this is so amazing. So
with this, let's go to the instruction. Beautifully, he was able to say the make, where the table was made, where the make of the chandelier, everything so in detail. That is the remote scanning that really gives us how much we can connect to something beyond our sight. That is what Bhagavan says. Your utility is not your real sight. Your third eye is the sight which can connect to something more than what you think as body and mind. And simply you can recognize the higher space as it is in any direction, any place, just so beautifully. Now, let's go to the guidelines and manifest the powers of remote vision. If you have Jnananjan in the Kantamala, you can apply in your third eye and your temples. And you can tell which all partners you're going to scan the house for what object. But let it be a very specific object so you can really tell the details of the object in the place where it is and how it is kept, or where, which room and which place it is kept. Even if you recognize this power manifestation is not to achieve anything or understand that it is not to get something, but it is to recognize the Paramashiva space in us. That is the main aim of this power manifestation. If you recognize even a little and celebrate, you have understood that you have the possibility and you can simply manifest the huge powers. But starting, we are just putting the foundation here. These power manifestations where you can recognize your Paramashiva space. So let's sit straight with the head, neck and spine in a straight line. For Kundalini to raise to your Agnya, bring Paramashiva, Parashakti to your third eye, or Krishna or Ishta Devata through your third eye. Again and again, visualize, verbalize only the Ishta Devata in your third eye. An absolute unclutching from the thoughts. Thoughts are not required. You did not require for sleep. So you don't have to require for this session. You tell very clearly, I am with Paramashiva. I have an appointment. I do not encourage any thoughts for that matter. And unclutch from every thought by chanting the Mahavakya deeply from your navel center, where the DNA starts flowering into multiple strands and raising your frequency when you have the deep listening to it into the higher dimensions, entangling with Bhagavan in the oneness space. Bhagavan is already in the quantum space. When we entangle in with the frequency, higher frequency, we are able to grasp the higher dimensions of us and manifest the higher powers. So let's start chanting for few minutes, put away everything. Let's be in the deep meditative space with Parashakti and be in the oneness space to bring all the auspiciousness and abundance for us and everybody around us. And whatever Bhagavan gives us as prasada, as remote vision, make a note of it. And at the end of the cycle, we'll verify with the partner. Vakya for the power of remote vision, scanning the objects in the house.
Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Varni open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the powers in all our third eyes.
Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda 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 Paramashivoham.
Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Varni open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the powers in all our third eyes. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. 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 Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Varni open up. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Varni open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the powers in all our third eyes. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Varni open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the powers in all our third eyes.
Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. 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 Om Nithyananda Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the
Beautiful. Whatever Bhagavan is showing as prasada, please open your eyes and verify the details with all the partners that you have scanned the people's houses for the object, and authentically write down or make a picture of whatever is come true. And simply you recognizing your higher space is getting prepared for Devi to land. Again and again, he asks us to do power manifestation, is to prepare ourselves. Only if we are prepared, Bhagavan can land on us, and the retention of the whole Shakti will become auspiciousness and abundance in our life. Again and again, Bhagavan is preparing us. All this power manifestation, Bhagavan clearly says, pokes your self-doubt, self-denial, and self-hatred, which you think you are not Paramashiva, you are not ultimate, you are not Parashakti, which again and again he raises you so that he can flood you into the higher consciousness. And he prepares us intensely before he lands and manifests in our life as Parashakti. All this greater science, when a guru does only the surrender, the deep gratitude, again and again surrendering to his lotus feet, is the only way for us to recognize the higher space and higher reality. Again and again, he gives us these power manifestation as a small science, which we sit with a cup of coffee or a chocolate and then experience the oneness with entangling with Bhagavan in such a sweet space. When we know the history that it is the tapas they all do to even reach a little bit. Bhagavan beautifully gives an example of an ant. If an ant try crawling up the mountain, it's going to be ages or how many janmas. But if the ant is kept on his shoulder and he goes to the top of the mountain, just flies, how many minutes or seconds he's going to take us to. That is what Bhagavan says. When you're prepared to receive me, I will be able to land in you and make you fly up the mountain just like that, beyond all this suffering, into the awakened state of Paramashiva. All that he is giving us again and again, intense Mahavakya detox programs, and make us realize that we are Paramashiva. And more the recognition of that space, the Turiya space, he can initiate us into the enlightened space. That is why he is giving us such a beautiful things that for us to manifest as reality, each one of us, few powers we recognize that is beyond our logical mind. We start understanding logic is not required. Logic is just mere human way of living. We can live as superconscious being because we are the chosen ones. Brahmanya Bahuputratam. Favorite inheritance of the cosmos. You are like $1 trillion kid here sitting. If you are in this session, Bhagavan beautifully says, I have chosen you. I have brought you here. And you will simply manifest all my powers because you are in the Kailash Courtyard. And beautifully, he explains how we are the possibilities of the humanities, which is 8 billion people and 84 million species. Being in such a gratitude for what he has done to us and being in the space of oneness, we can manifest all the powers of Paramashiva. We'll have one more cycle. We will have deep meditation for few more minutes to experience the oneness with Paramashiva. Deeply engage yourself only in the space of Paramashiva, who you are. Recognize that space. All that you're clutched with, the outer world. Few minutes, let go all that. Whatever thought comes, let it come. Do not disturb them, but it is not yours. Recognize that it is not yours. What is yours, which will you, is the self, the consciousness, Paramashiva, Parashakti. Hold that as the ultimate. You came with that. Before you were born, what was there? After you die, what was going to be there? And in your deep sleep, what is there? The Paramashiva space. Hold on to that for a few minutes and see how you can manifest all the auspiciousness and abundance. The next reality, the possibilities are n dimension that is given to us. The self-effulgent, the sarvagnyatva, the healing possibilities. all that abundance, all that starts flowering in us when we recognize the Paramashiva space in us, not the human space. Human space is limited to this body, which is literally a dead body, and only that much function. Recognize the Paramashiva space. It's like Bhagavan says, a Swiss bank account is opened for you and said, please go ahead and use it. You can just withdraw whatever you want. You can start recognizing the higher reality. So let's start deeply meditating. Sit straight with your head, neck, and spine in a straight line. Intensely bring Parashakti or Krishna to your third eye again and again. Melt in Krishna's lotus feet. Whatever Ishta Devata that Bhagavan has given you as the dimension for you to recognize him, go ahead and merge with him. Merge into the oneness space and chant the Mahavakya from your navel center. Your whole body being vibrating into the next frequency, you will start recognizing your higher dimensions, higher possibilities. Let's start chanting the Mahavakya to scan few people's house for the objects in the house specifically and the remote vision that Bhagavan has given as prasada today. Let's experience the oneness with Paramashiva, chanting the Mahavakya and listening to the Mahavakya.
Paramashivoham. Nithyananda 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 Paramashivoham. Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Varni open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the powers in all our third eyes. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. 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 Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
Verification process for finding the object in others' house.
Such a beautiful space, the verification. and Bhagavan is showering all of us and preparing us for the darshans and all these great signs. Please share the powerful and power manifestation. When you enrich the world, you start recognizing that everything that exists is Paramashiva. How that Bhagavan described, the man could see a stone as Paramashiva. If you're able to recognize the higher dimensions in the other objects as reality, simply you will start recognizing the Paramashiva space in you. Everything that Bhagavan has given the Samyama just to recognize Paramashiva in everyone. When Uddhava asked Krishna, what is that he wanted, the last teachings, Krishna told Uddhava that everything is Krishna. Go ahead and fall in love with everything as Krishna. You will recognize the Krishna in you. And it's so easy to see in others than ourselves. And so easy to tell others than ourselves. When we make others experience the Paramashiva, we become Paramashiva. Go ahead and enrich and cause. That is why enriching and causing is, Bhagavan says, integrity, authenticity, responsibility. You have to do it. Enriching and causing, I myself will manifest through you, because it makes you as Paramashiva, as the initiation itself. So please go ahead, spend 5 minutes, thank Bhagavan, and post all your comments and your beautiful experiences, and thank Bhagavan for whatever he's offering us. And if you see the $ in the YouTube, go ahead and contribute to Kailasha for all the offerings from Kailasha, for each one of us, showering for each one of us that Bhagavan is giving us, that we'll realize slowly and slowly in our life how amazing and important it is. For without that, how do our life even exist? Such a beautiful space. Go ahead and whatever you offer, that becomes the dharma, and it protects you and becomes a kavacha for each one of you, means the protection. When you support dharma, dharma supports you and brings all the auspiciousness and abundance. With that deep gratitude for Bhagavan to manifest all this in all of us, and deep earning that Paramashiva to become existential reality in all of us as prayer. And thanking each and every one of you who are in the sessions, hundreds of you all over the world, manifesting the powers, holding the highest cognition that you are Paramashiva is the ultimate space. Thanking each one of you. And with the deep gratitude, let's end the session with the Purna Mantra. Today's session will be over with this. And let's thank Bhagavan and end this session with the Purna Mantra. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purna Purnamudashyate Purnasya Purnamataya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat Sarvam Bhagavate Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam Padukarpanamastu. Om Nithyanandam. Thank you so much. See you in after the next satsang, next darshan in the next session. This session will be closed.